I've been struggling many years with cancer, and I was first diagnosed in 2007, where I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma. So I did all the procedure, I did all the chemos, I did all the therapies that I had to do. I followed all doctor's instruction, and I got really weak. So I developed a very strong form of pneumonia, and that really took me into a coma. So I was not for long, just for 2 days, and where I experienced, and after that moment, so I was so tired, I was so exhausted, and I just felt something so great coming towards me and wanted to take me away, and I just felt so at peace, and I just let go, and I just started to follow this sensation, this beautiful, peaceful feeling, and but suddenly there was something that, like an electric shock, it took me back. And that moment I realized that, like I did with the cancer, I had to fight, because I just loved life so much, and I didn't want to let go of that feeling, of that gift. So I had a very, very fast recovery. The doctor were quite impressed and amazed, in fact. And so after that, I was eager to go back to my life. I was so happy, and I went back to the same life, which means the same stress, the same job, the same situation. I went back to my past, basically. And I was not realizing at the time that that was, was a big problem. And so I never really felt healed. I have to get going to do my checkups every 3 to 6 months, because I have still lots of swollen lymph nodes, and the doctor wanted also to check me. So I was always in a little of a borderline, I would say. Excuse me. And to the point that I was feeling, in a way, this cancer identity was so engraved in me, was so part of me, that it was not going. It was not going. It was there. And finally, 3 years ago, I got my second diagnosis, which was an aggressive thyroid cancer, which I had to remove my whole thyroid, and had to have 2 operations, because also I had to keep taking these lymph nodes away, because every 2 months they kept growing. So the doctor took 19 lymph nodes, and I did this very, very aggressive therapy, where I have to be in isolation, because I was very radioactive. And that time I was feeling really that I had enough again, and I was so tired, and I was feeling a little bit down, thinking, okay, this is gonna be my life, and I cannot keep going like this. So I started to feel there must be another way. There must be another way that I can heal myself. And I believed I could. I believed I love life so much, and I didn't want to just let go. So I started to search and read many books and look at lots of information online and so on. So I find out the correlation between nutrition and cancer. So I did what I had to do. So I drastically changed my life, and I started to shift from a normal diet, Mediterranean diet, to a vegetarian diet, and then to vegan, and then to raw vegan. I started to do detox every month. I was doing a juice fast, and I moved to Bali, where I met this amazing doctor that helped me through all the process, and I started to feel much better, and I was in that state of, wow, this is happening, I'm healing, I'm in Bali, it's beautiful life, it's so peaceful. I'm doing yoga, I'm doing meditation, detox, fasting, eating raw food from the nature, and that was great. I was really, really feeling better, but there was always the shadow in me of the cancer, and the emotions were getting worse, actually. So although I was denying that to myself and to everybody around me, my family, my boyfriend, pretending that I was living a life of a dream, inside I had this emotional sadness, and I was getting actually very frustrated, very bitter and hungry all the time. And I really could not pass that emotion when I tried so hard with the food, but then watching actually Dr. Joe Dispenza videos on YouTube made me realize that that was not enough, and the missing link, the missing key for me was actually to work on the emotional, was actually to let go of this cancer identity that I've been taking with me for 12 years and I would not let go somehow. So I started to follow him, and I was feeling so powerful, and I knew that I had to go to one of his workshops so badly. But it was very hard because financially still not working, concentrate on my healing, it was a big problem for me. So thanks to an angel, a person that actually has been to few of his workshops that I don't even know personally, I've only been communicated with, she told me about the scholarship. I really put my heart in this form, and I sent it, and all my medical forms and everything, and I had this feeling in my heart that I was going to get it, but I was even scared to say it to anybody, so I just kept it quiet for me. And the time comes when I got this email saying that I had a placement, and I will never forget the day. I was like, I jumped and I screamed, and I felt my heart reaching my head, pumping, and say, yes, this is your chance. This is that moment you've been waiting for all these years. So I embraced that feeling in gratitude, and I was super happy. And so I was back home for Christmas with my family for checkups and waiting to go to this workshop. And when I had my scan, the doctor tells me that there are 2 new big lumps on my neck that are not looking very well, and he would like to do a biopsy and then to decide if proceed with surgery or eventual therapies. So I have to be honest, in that moment, although I had decided to pursue a natural healing journey, I felt scared, and I felt a little bit thrown back into the blackness of the pure fear. And so I did the biopsies, and I was, getting very depressed again, and not knowing exactly what to do. And then I was actually listening and watching the online progressive workshops, which I needed to attend in order to be admitted to the advance. And by watching that, something Dr. Joe was talking about, change, and you have to change your life, or you have to change your beliefs, change your past, your identities. And something really in me grew, and it was like an epiphany. And I realized, yes, I need to change my cancer identity, change this fear, change this waiting for this cancer to keep constantly coming back and not living my life like a shadow. And I decided in that moment, I don't care about these biopsies. I don't care the result. There is nothing that's going to stop me, but I'm going to the workshop. I'm going to advanced workshop in Dubai. Well, the workshop started, and it was incredible. I never felt like that in my life. I was surrounded by amazing people and the energy, and I was really into my intention of making this my medicine, my change in my life. So I was struggling, I have to say, a little bit with the breathing, the meditation, but this was not stop me. I had this intention, and I said, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to surrender, and this is going to happen. I just have to keep going, and I was not going to give up. So what happened? The first incredible magic things that happened to me was on the first coherence meditation. I was a healer, and as soon as I entered the room, I felt the energy of these people. I felt the love, unconditional love, and all these people there together with this pure healing intention. I never felt this huge unconditional love in my whole life as a whole. I never realized that could be really real. I've always been very let's say, selfish into me, my illness, my suffering, my victim mode, and me, and I couldn't contain the tears. The tears was flowing. It was, I was moved. I was moved like I could not remember in my life. I've been moved, and I just completely surrendered, and it was incredible. At the end of the meditation, we were hugging each other's, and there was something happened. There was a hug from this sweet lady called Jacqueline, and the way she hugged me, and the way she looked at me, it was my mom's love I felt again after she had passed away from cancer in 1995. And all these years, I always dreamt and hoped that she would come in my dreams and give me the hug and the kiss that she could only give me, that love that it was so special. And I missed dearly all these years. And this moment, I felt it, and I hugged this lady so strongly. I didn't want to let her go. And she felt me, so she kissed me, and I just was melting in love. And I could have died in that moment, and I would have been so happy. That was everything I ever wanted. So beautiful. And I was trying to talk and explain to her my reaction, but I couldn't find a way to speak. The feeling was too strong. So when Dr. Joe started speaking after the meditation, she called me, and she was sitting on a chair, and she made me rest my head on her laps. And while he was talking, he was stroking my hair. Really, that was my mom, and I could not believe the way I was feeling. It was so magical and sweet love that I have missed dearly for all these years. So after the meditation, I was in this state at night. I couldn't sleep. I was in ecstatic excitement, and I was craving for that hug again, for that kiss again. So the next morning, I went to look for this lady. I went to look in her team. She was not there, and I went to look again. She was not there, and I was feeling like addicted to that. I wanted that so badly, and I couldn't understand why I could not find her, because I went in her team and still not there. After lunch, I kept going with this feeling. I really wanted this hug again. I had to feel my mom again more than anything. So I went to look for her again, and still, very strangely, but still I could not find her. So I just breathed, and it was time to go for the other coherence meditation. And this time I was a Healy. So I went early to prepare, and as soon as I entered the room, when we lie down before entering the main ballroom, when everybody is, I just felt this peace, and I closed my eyes. My body was so light, and I really felt my mom with me, and I could see this white angel as well all around me with her, and it was just so beautiful. And in that moment, I didn't feel I wanted something physical or material. I was just in bliss with that feeling, and that's all I needed, and it was so beautiful. The meditation was amazing. I felt surrendering. I felt so in harmony with my whole body, and I felt I was lifted up from something divine, so pure and so harmonious. I just don't know how to describe it, but this is the best way I can. And I just enjoy. I wasn't thinking, I wasn't analyzing, I wasn't waiting or hoping or nothing. I was just enjoying this divine feeling. And so after that, I just took some time for myself to breathe into this and trying to understand what was going on, because my body really felt differently. My body felt it was getting ready for something. I didn't have any physical experience apart from the feeling of floating and lightness, but it felt like it was getting ready for something, some change. I don't know. And that it was the time to go for the walking meditation in the desert, which I was super excited. So I was on the bus and thinking about all these emotions and feeling a little bit sad because I still had not found that lady. But I thought, okay, I just going to surrender. And the moment I surrender, I just had this huge epiphany realization. The reason why I could not find this lady, it was obvious now. It was because meeting her at this stage of my life, this crucial healing stage of my life, meant that I have to cut that chain, that bond that I would not let go with my mom all these years, and it was keeping me with this illness. And I realized that it was time to let go. It was a closure, and maybe I wouldn't have seen this lady ever again, and that was supposed to be like that. So with my heart filled with this emotion and realization, I breathed and I let go and I said goodbye to my mom, and it was beautiful to have felt that again for the last time. And I realized, look, it is time. You need to heal. You've been attached to this cancer identity all these years because you did not want to let go. So I did that, and we got off the bus. I put my headphones on, and I felt really strong in my heart, and I put the intention, and I said, I am going to walk in this meditation and finish like a new person, a healed person. I'm going to be powerful, I'm going to be healed, I'm going to be strong, and I'm going to be free from the chain of my past. All the identity, all the beliefs, it's just going to be a new me. So I went. It was incredible. I felt every word of Dr. Joe like he was actually speaking to me. And the music, everything was just empowering me, and I had this feeling coming through my body, and it was incredible. The energy that I was feeling, the way I was walking, the intention that I put it was just perfect. And this switch happened in my head. I really felt like, and I realized that I would never let go of my illness, because it was so attached to my mom's identity of cancer, because she also died of cancer. And that me having cancer was keeping me so close to her, so bonded to her, attached to this feeling, and I would never wanted to let go. And that's why, in a way, this cancer was, I would say, comforting in a way. So, and it was so dear to me because he was my connection, my last connection I could have with my mom. And that was so clear, and my head, it just opened realizing that, and also realized, but this is actually all these emotions, all these attachments, this is all in the three-dimensional world. It's not actually real. What am I doing? What I've been doing? I don't need this to be connected to her. I can now connect it to her in another dimension, in another way, and it will be at a different level. And that opened my heart so beautifully. I walked and I walked again, feeling so empowered, feeling so different, and my body was following me with such a determination. And I felt my body cells from my feet snapping the other way, like all the way up to my head, and do that again and do that again. And I felt like I was flying. I felt like this flow of energy, of hair, of lightness in my body running up and down, like something has opened. And then my throat felt very funny, and then again this volcanic rush of energy, bubbling energy, was like exploding out of my throat. And that moment I felt that I was healed. I felt like I let go of everything. This is it. I am nobody. I am nowhere. I don't care about nothing in my life. I don't care about people or the attachment. This is the pure love that I feel for myself, and I could not keep that feeling because it was so big. I felt like exploding. I felt like my heart was ripping apart. And I was just breathing and dancing in the desert, enjoying this moment of pure magic. And it was so silent, and everybody else was not there. It was just me in this moment, feeling like a true new person, walking in my new life as a new person. And it was a sweet love for myself. That's all it matters. I've always been attached to people and thinking that I needed love from people around me. But in that moment, I naturally hugged myself so much because I realized that it was a love for myself that was healing me, and it was all I needed in that moment and all I needed in my life. I was so moved. I was so moved. And the meditation finished, and I didn't want to go back where everybody was because I wanted to stay in that state, feel that feeling, realize what was happening. I mean, it was still coming through to me, and I was really in a ecstatic place and of a bliss, and I didn't want to come out of it. So I was not thinking, I was not looking at people. So slowly I went back where everybody was, and it was beautiful setting, and there were many pillows and a stage, and I still didn't want to go back to that because I wanted to stay with this beautiful feeling, and I never wanted to end it ever again. That's all I wanted for life, feeling like that. So after a while walking, automatically I just sat down somewhere, but I was keeping my eyes closed. I was in my zone because I was still with that beautiful state of, and I was so happy. I was so at bliss, and but I realized there was somebody right next to me. So I just quickly turned my head to smile at that person, and honestly, that person next to me was a sweet lady, Jacqueline, that gave me all that love, my mom's love, which I've been looking for so much and I could not find. But right there in the desert with 1,400 people, I just sat down next to her. And I don't know if I need to add anything to this because it speaks for itself. It was beautiful. It was magical. I still cannot take that feeling away from my heart. It stayed with me forever. I will never ever forget this moment.